This is Kite Cutter TV with another presentation. We gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, on one of my last videos, I had a couple people comment because I said that I believe in Jesus. We had a couple people say that Jesus was an immigrant. One of the main things that I deal with, I don't deal with immigration topics. I deal with illegal immigration topics. So I know some of you guys on the left that only watch CNN and liberal news wouldn't understand the difference. But there is a huge difference. I do not do immigration news. I do illegal immigration news, okay? And by you trying to say that Jesus was an immigrant, yes, he was. Now, if you're saying Jesus was an illegal immigrant, then we have a problem, because in the Bible it says, obey the laws of the land. So if Jesus was going to another country and he wasn't obeying their laws, or he was in the country illegally, then Jesus would be a sinner. So that's not the Jesus that I believe in. The Jesus that I believe in was not a sinner. That's number one. Number two, I've got a few people that's getting irritated because I'm saying illegal alien. And I'm only saying illegal alien because that is actually the definition of what they are. We can go to even a secular source, Wikipedia, that says alien. An alien just means belonging to a foreign country. That's it. So I'm not trying to dehumanize immigrants or illegal aliens by calling them aliens. By definition of the law in the United States, that's what they're actually called. Moving on, Joe Biden is trying to remove the Remain in Mexico policy, or MPP, migrant protection protocols, which made illegal immigrants, or some of them want to call themselves asylum seekers, they have to remain in Mexico. Now what Joe Biden is trying to do, he's trying to get the 25,000 illegal immigrants or asylum seekers that are waiting for their court date, that are waiting in Mexico. He's now allowing them as of February 19th to move into the United States as they wait for their court case. He's reinstating catch and release. According to ICE, there's 1.2 illegal immigrants awaiting deportation, most living freely in communities nationwide. Why would you want, during a pandemic, you want more people to come into the country that we basically can't vet all these people? We got that and a lot more illegal immigration news to get into. Check this out.
Administration on Friday announced plans for tens of thousands of asylum seekers waiting in Mexico for their next immigration court hearing to be allowed into the U.S. while their cases proceed. The first of an estimated 25,000 asylum seekers in Mexico with active cases will be allowed in the U.S. on February 19th. According to authorities, they plan to start slowly with 2 border crossings, each processing up to 300 people a day, and a third crossing taking fewer.
The Department of Homeland Security announced Friday that starting February 19th, the thousands of migrants who had been forced to wait in Mexico for months under the Trump administration's migrant protection protocols will be allowed into the U.S. for processing. Approximately 25,000 asylum seekers have open, undecided cases and will be brought in.
We do have breaking news from our team at BorderReport.com. Asylum seekers forced to wait in Mexico will soon be allowed into the U.S. through El Paso and 2 other ports of entry. Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar says people in the Migrant Protection Program will be given the chance to apply for entry into the U.S. to await their court hearings. He says the asylum seekers must have current active cases filed under the MPP, and they must test negative for the coronavirus.
Nonprofits working with migrants on the Texas-Mexico border say they've seen a spike in undocumented immigrants being released into the communities in the last couple of weeks.
This is Customs and Border Protection say they've seen a steady increase in border encounters since April.
Anastasia Bolton spoke with several nonprofits about what's happening in their communities and why.
The reasons for coming here haven't changed. They don't change based on who's in the White House. People still make the journey, and in recent weeks, hundreds of undocumented immigrants who crossed into the United States were apprehended by Border Patrol and then released into the communities in the Rio Grande Valley.
For the last year and a half, our numbers in the bus station have been very limited. We've gotten maybe 5 or so a day.
Andrea Rudnick is with Team Brownsville, a small group of volunteers who help asylum seekers get to their destinations from the Brownsville bus station.
Now the numbers are looking like they're starting to climb, 60, 70. So, and CBP has actually told us that they have more more families on the way.
They started coming in on January 27th of 2021.
The city of Brownsville set up a check-in station and a waiting area as the migrants wait to board buses. The city says since January 27th through Monday, February 8th, it's processed 653 people.
As they come in, you'll get a rapid test, which is you get the results in about 15 minutes.
On January 27th, the city counted 4 migrants. The next day, 44. The day after, 54. On Saturday, January 30th, 75. And that's when the city says it ran out of COVID tests.
There was a gap between the 31st until we received the January 31st until we received the test this weekend, where we do not have COVID tests to provide.
The information on COVID testing for people who cross the border is inconsistent at best. U.S. Customs and Border Protection didn't answer our questions about that. A CBP agent working on the ground said the agency didn't test unless someone showed symptoms or needed medical attention. In McAllen, nonprofits like Catholic Charities of the Rio Grande Valley say they do, as they take in people into their shelter.
From my understanding, they are not testing everybody that is arrives to Border Patrol.
Catholic Charities Director Sister Norma Pimentel is the person to ask about what's going on.
This is not because the present administration has changed in any way. They're working to make those changes, but they have not yet put those into effect. Mexico has now put a stop to releasing families into Mexico. That's why we're seeing now families released here in the United States.
We think it's limited and contained to South Texas.
Dylan Corbett runs the Whole Border Institute in El Paso that, among many other things, works on immigration issues.
It appears that what's happened in the last week is that Mexico is beginning to push back and not permit everyone to be returned. It's episodic, it's sporadic, we don't know exactly what's happening. But the fact is that the Biden administration very quickly is going to have to get a handle on this.
People will always have a reason to come here. That won't change. But some say what happens when they cross the border is expected to, with the new person in the White House. With photojournalist Jose Sanchez, I'm Anastasia Bolton.
In a statement, CBP told us the steady increase in border encounters since April, along with coronavirus distancing restrictions, caused some facilities to reach the maximum safe holding capacity. The agency says it will continue to, quote, use all current authorities to avoid keeping individuals in a congregate setting for any length of time.
When Colorado lawmakers passed a new law in 2013 to help people in the country legally obtain a Colorado driver's license, many people in that community were hesitant to apply.
I received calls from community members with questions about applying for a driver's license or other service, and the first question is always, is it safe? It turns out that the immigrant community's fear about sharing information was justified.
Last summer, the Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition obtained hundreds of pages of emails between the Colorado DMV and ICE after people came to them with concerns. The emails revealed DMV agents helped immigration officers identify individuals in Colorado illegally.
It is our responsibility in the state to ensure that all Coloradans have trust in our state agencies. That trust has been broken.
In a statement to 9 News, the Colorado Department of Revenue says, quote, we restructured the Motor Vehicle Investigations Unit and retrained staff on the appropriate uses of data sharing. Any request solely for the purpose of civil immigration enforcement is immediately denied, end quote. In Thursday's press conference, State Senator Julie Gonzalez and State Representative Serena Gonzalez Gutierrez announced they'd be introducing a bill that would protect personal information kept by state agencies.
Rebuilding trust right now is incredibly important.
The bill would limit state employees from disclosing personal information for the purpose of enforcing, cooperating, or assisting in federal immigration enforcement.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, God bless. Peace.